All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
L5. Consideration of filling a vacant city council seat, District 1. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor White and City Council. Here we are again. So just as a matter of background, as you know, the council member Ontalon notified the city clerk that she was resigning from her District 1 city council seat on May 23rd of this year. On July 18th, the city council appointed Councilmember Dominguez, who was sworn in on July 25th. And again, that was for District 1. On August 22nd, Councilmember Dominguez informed myself that he would be moving out of District 1, thus no longer being eligible to hold that council seat. And he moved effective September 1st, so his council seat became vacant. So tonight, task before you is to decide whether or not to appoint or call for a special election to fill that council seat. As you'll recall, you have 60 days to decide one way or the other to either actually appoint somebody or to actually call for a special election. The successor's term is different depending upon whether or not they're appointed or elected. The lawmakers prefer an election just because it allows the people to choose the council person. And so in that case, if a special election is called and the person is elected, they will hold whole rest of the District 1 term, which will end on November 26, 2026. Of course, the first opportunity for a special election won't be until March of 2024. So that person whom is elected will hold office from March of 2024 until November of 2026. And there will be a vacancy from now until March of 2024. If you appoint somebody, they would take office as soon as they're appointed and sworn in. But they would only hold office until the next general municipal election, which is in November of 2024, which time there would be just a regular election for that seat. And that elected person would hold office until November of 2024, or I'm sorry, 2026. So it's a little confusing in terms of the terms, but just keeping in mind that the lawmakers favor an election. And so in that case, the person would hold a term for a longer amount of time. The other thing you may want to consider is that the cost of a special election, the city clerk did call the county and they gave an estimate of anywhere between $17,484 and $29,140. It's a little bit of a lower cost than some of the what you've seen before because it is just for the one district. And then I do think those are, and of course, the person who is either appointed or elected will have to reside in District 1. So with that, you do have, as I mentioned, two options. You can either appoint a successor, and you can do that in any way you would choose. So you can do what you've done in the past and accept applications and then hold public interviews. You could nominate and just appoint somebody from the dais without the interview process. And then alternatively, as I also mentioned, you can call for a special election, in which case, I'll work on that. Any questions? Oh, first. Typically questions and public comment.
If we don't do the special election and they are voted in November, how long do they sit on this?
So if they're voted in this November 2024, they will finish the District 1 term, which is ending in 2026. So 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
But that is with them.
Because that district's on a different rotation.
Right. So either way, there's going to be a general election for District 1 in November of 2024.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. I take that back. Yeah. There will be either an election in March of 2024 if you choose to just go with a special election, or there will be a general election in November of 2024. So one or the other will occur no matter what. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
So we have 3 seats that will be voted on in November, correct? 3 districts.
And right, unless someone's elected in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right,
Can I
yeah, go ahead.
comments? Okay. So, for the last time that we spoke,
Mayor White, do you want to take public comment?
oh,
before
let's
council?
go this way.
Let's go do that.
Okay.
All right, any public comment from the chambers? And
Okay, good evening again. I'm not going to reiterate everything I said the last time this came up, but I will point out that that District 1 has been basically in limbo since May with the resignation. And I was told that it's unfortunate that Mr. Dominguez lasted 28 days, but I was told personally recruited by Ms. Undelan to fill that seat, and that didn't work out. So I am going to reiterate my request that you appoint Drew Tipton to this seat, because not only is experience important and necessary for not only these seats, but also the other boards that you're involved in, specifically the Solid Waste Authority where he served before, because Greenfield is, I mean, I wonder what everybody's thinking. Now we're going to be on our person number 3 here. So again, I think experience is important, and even more important is recent experience, because we don't have any more time to keep doing this. Another 60 days is going to bring us to what, November? You guys know the process. You've been here before. We know what to do. You guys know what to do. I'm not in favor of a special election in March. That cost is, it's not worth it. I'd rather the election occur in November like it's going to. And this is just, again, a short-term stopgap measure with the most qualified person to do it, in my opinion. I mean, everybody can have a good heart and good intention, but experience does matter, especially on outside boards. So I know he's not here tonight, but I do have his permission to say that he is still able and willing to do it. He was committed enough to run for the seat. He was committed enough to apply, not once, not twice, but twice. So that's what we need. We need somebody committed and experienced and willing to do the job and hit the ground running. And as City Attorney Thompson said, you can make an appointment tonight from the dais. So thank you.
all right, we have 2 hands raised.
Gabby?
Speaking for my mom, who does live in District 1, there hasn't been any representation. I think it's important to have representation. It's been since May. We've tried other methods. I think I was open to other methods. I was actually excited about the new council member because he seemed like he had a good heart. But I will again chime in and say that Drew Tipton lost by a few points. It wasn't a huge margin, and I definitely agree that he's demonstrated his leadership and he has experience. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Beatrice?
Hi, good evening. I would say no appointment. My recommendation would probably be to go ahead and take applications. I keep hearing this, Mr. Tipton lost by only a few votes. If you can remember, Ms. Rodriguez and Ms. Ortiz, you guys were not, on board on council then. But Irene Garcia lost by very few points, and they tried to appointing her there, and they didn't want to. They went the other way around. So I think that if worst comes to worst, as much as we hate to be losing money, I think that the best thing for our district, for all this trauma that we have been going, I am, in support of, going into elections. And I realize, I hate to spend money, but I think this would probably be better for, for us to go. Those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Good evening. I'm Robert Urquidez. I live at 774 McDonald Way. I'm in District 1, but I'm on the Planning Commission and I don't want to lose that seat. So otherwise I would have put myself in nomination, but I think Drew Tipton would be a good fit till the next election. I don't think we need to spend money on a special election until November of 2024. So.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, okay. Back to council.
Thank you.
Oh, we do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, Council. Cynthia Zavala. I'm here. I'm not in District 1, but I've seen this whole process since the beginning, and I feel like there's maybe personal, agendas. We have Drew Tipton that's been here before you guys twice. He ran and unfortunately lost by a few votes, but he did the work. And he's been trying, to come back. And I think it's only fair to appoint him. He's the only one that I see here come twice and show interest to be on council. He's experienced, and I don't think that we should be wasting any more time when we can have an experienced council member up there. Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor White, it looks like there's an additional public comment on Zoom.
All right. Mr.
John
Huerta.
Huerta.
John.
Yes, you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I just got in. So we live in a democracy. I don't think, well, one thing I know, the selection shouldn't be, or appointed shouldn't be by 3 council members. That's not, enough outreach to the community. Again, we're a democracy. We're not an autocracy. I mean, we're not talking about somebody that has experience or someone that doesn't have experience. It doesn't work that way. And so I would think that a special election would be the best route. I know the city of Watsonville has it in their policy that once a opening or resignation occurs on the city council, there is no deliberation from the city council. It is an automatic election. I think I was going to bring this up later down the line, but I think I got to bring it up tonight to your attention that I think that's the route that we need to take so we can keep democracy in place. And lastly, I think this item again needs to be fully vetted by the community, not just a certain few. And thank you for the opportunity.
Right, thank you very much, John. Looks like we have one more hand raised there.
Zoom. Yeah, good afternoon. Good evening. Once again, Raul Tapia here. It's important that we give new fresh ideas and new innovational thoughts, to this board, and so twice Mr. Tipton's come forth, and I also have come a second time here now myself. So, I think that would be a great opportunity for, a fresh idea, fresh face to represent this community at large, and so hopefully that, we do go to elections, and John is right, City of Watsonville has adopted that ideology that, go to elections immediately. And so I think that would be a best bet, to have it done via elections, for the district open seat. So, I mean, with that said, I'd urge you that, the consideration be thoughtful and mindful, and that it does get rendered that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. All right, council.
Okay, I'll go first. So, I took it upon myself to do some canvassing. Unfortunately, I, would have liked to have spent more time visiting more homes in, District 1. And, but the homes that I did get to, I'd like to share with you what they said. A lot of the people that I spoke to, I don't mind sharing with council, but I think that, you know, they, if they don't want their name used, then, you know, I'm not going to use their name. And so, but, I can use their address. They gave me permission. So I went to, well, actually, this one said I could. So I spoke to Kim Perez. She lives on 232 up the street. It's right over from where Thorpe is at, that street that's right there. And she said that she's concerned because she doesn't know who her council person is, and they haven't known. She talked about a lot of things that concern her in her community and wants to know who does she talk to? Who can I talk to? I did tell her that since, you know, they didn't have representation right now, like a district person, that they could easily contact myself, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Rodriguez and Councilmember Martinez. So I did let her know that. Some of the things that she talked about is she wanted to speak to somebody about an inclusionary park. Her child is not a child, actually, it's an adult in a wheelchair, and they really need somewhere that they can go and take their daughter. At the same address, I spoke to Val Kambunga, and he wants more info on what's being built. He said it's very important that they know what's being built in their district. He says there's a lot of parking issues. He wants to know who he can talk to about these concerns that he has and what's coming into the community. They feel that he felt that he wasn't represented, and yeah, so that's on him. I spoke to Mark Perez, and that was at 344 Chianti, and he's 4 voters there, but I only spoke to him 1. He also said that he wanted, all these other people said that they would prefer somebody appointed. Let me go back a little bit. What they stated was they wanted somebody appointed if it was for, if it was only for 3 months, maybe the seat was empty, vacant, that they would be okay with that and waiting. But since it's such a longer amount of time and they are going to be able to vote in November, that they don't mind somebody being appointed. They would actually like somebody to be appointed to the seat. So I spoke to Mark Perez at 344 Chianti. He said a lot of his concerns were about overcrowding and parking. Who do I talk to? I spoke to Gabriela Ceja at 438 Cardona. She's a registered voter. She said she's concerned about the South Help project that's coming next. Her house is directly next to the lot. So if you stand in front of her house, the lot's right there. So she's got a lot of concerns. She has a lot of questions about what's going to happen. Again, she says she wants representation. She wants somebody that she can speak to that would help her understand, you know, what's to be expected in her community. I spoke to Jose Jaramillo, 476 Cardona, and I only went to him because he was washing his car. So he was outside, so I went up and talked to him. He really didn't have any comments. He said that he would prefer to have an appointment. And I asked everybody if they had anybody that they would like to, in mind that they would want appointed. And only a couple of them said, and I'll get to them. I talked to Carol Radis. She's a registered voter. She doesn't live in District 1. She lives on the next street over. That's District 2. And she said, also, they have a lot of concerns about parking and overcrowding. They don't know who that they're supposed to go to. I talked to Erica Gallegos, also a registered voter. another person that lives right across the street. And, I didn't want to stop them from giving their input, because everybody's input is crucial here in town. And so also they feel that they're underrepresented and they want an appointment. I talked to Socorro Diaz, which lives back over here on this section of District 1. She also is a registered voter, a lifelong resident, and a business owner. And she wants an appointment. And she didn't have any idea of who to appoint. I talked to Chair Garcia and her family at 374 Thorpe, and they would like an appointment, and they would like to see Drew Tipton appointed. Like I said, a lot of these people said that, if it was a short amount of time, they'd be more than happy to wait to have somebody, elected. But the fact that it is probably like 11 months, they feel that they need representation because of so many things going on, especially on that side of town right now. Departments coming in with the Avila project getting bigger, with stores coming in and whatnot. One of the concerns they had was about the park and the, potentially having the self-help home, what's going to happen with traffic and the kids. And so there's a lot of concerns like that. I wish I would have been able to go out to more houses, but I wasn't able to due to time constraints, so I couldn't do that. But the overall, every single one of them said they want an appointment. I understand that we can have a special election in March, $17,000 to $29,000. And I am all for the people voting, but I don't want to spend that money. I would prefer to appoint, and even though it's for a short amount of time. And then at that time, I would really like to hopefully see more candidates stand up and, throw their hat in the ring and do what they need to do to, run for that seat. The only thing I'd say about appointing is that I think it's changing. Our council seats are changing. People want more engagement with their representatives. They want a place that they can go to. They want somebody who's accessible to them. And I think, we've had some really good council members throughout the years that have done a lot of that work. I know a lot of us have really busy schedules, and, it's kind of hard to get out there and go to events and whatnot. But I just really hope that we can move forward on this and appoint somebody. And I'm going to go ahead and make a motion right now. I know that you all need to speak, but I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to appoint Drew Tipton for the remainder of the District 1 seat that will be going to election in November. Are we not all able to speak? Oh, that's what it said. You can speak. Yeah, you can still comment.
Yeah, I have several comments, but the first actually is a question for you, Councilmember Ortiz, because you were very clear in the last meeting that should this situation ever arise again, you absolutely, in hindsight, would have voted even back then for a special election so that the voters could speak. So if I could just finish my question. Okay. So what I want to know is, was that true, or why did that change?
Actually, that is true. I am very happy that they will be going to election in November, if that's what we decide to do tonight. I'm happy that they're going. It's very important that they choose who they want, but I've spoke to people, and I wish that I could still keep on going, but tonight we have the meeting to do that. It's a short amount of time. It's not very long. The District 1 wants representation. I am doing my district over here, but I'm more than happy to go over there if somebody needs to speak to me. I know that the mayor is always open to speaking. I don't know what your schedule is, to be able to connect with that side of, that district. And I am all for voting. I think that the people need to vote. But right now they need representation. And even if we do an election, it's still not to March. And from March is April, May, June, July, August, September. It's 8
Right,
months.
and it would
8
have been
months.
longer. So what I'm saying is those facts, District 1 needs representation. Everything that you just stated was the same a month ago when you said that you regretted voting for an appointment.
Yeah, and
And it's the same facts now, so,
well,
but you feel differently now.
no, I don't feel differently. What I'm saying is that I've spoken to the district residents, and yet I could have hopefully went talk to more. They want representation now. I'm for an election, but I'm not going to expend that election when the person only has to sit there for possibly 10 months, because we're going to be off in November, we have holidays, December, we have holidays, and then we're off in August. So there's not, it's not going to be for a long amount of time.
But we
So-
were given the cost last time too, and you still said that you would have voted that way instead.
Well, I'm not going to keep going around.
No,
the
I'm
block.
just, because
know,
those
and I
facts haven't
understand.
changed.
I like the vote, but I'm also listening to it. Everybody talks about listening to the community, listening to the
Exactly.
community. I went and I listened to what they said. These are not people, the only people that I know on here are the Garcias. Everybody else I don't know. I went to their homes. I left cards on people's houses to have them contact me. Nobody did. Nobody else called anymore, which I would have happily went and got on the phone with them, even though I was at work, I would have got on the phone with them. So yes, I am for elections, but right now, this District 1 has nothing to do with my district. District 1 wants representation, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them representation if I can.
So I think the voices, I appreciate that you went out and did canvassing work. I don't feel the need to do that because, and make sure I'm speaking to registered voters, because the voice of the registered voters was already heard. They already went out and said what they wanted. And that was that Drew Tipton, who had already held a seat for 4 years, I believe, I don't know, I could be wrong. So he already did work up here respectfully. And some people were happy with that work. He has support here in the audience. And the majority were not, and did not wish for him to continue to be their representative. They had the opportunity to vote for him. And regardless, the numbers keep being brought up, which I think is unfair, because if your side is the winner, then you're not going to care about the numbers. If the person that you were supporting lost, then they lost by a little bit. That's doesn't matter. Our democracy is that majority wins. Majority said they don't want Drew to represent them anymore. So I appreciate that you spoke with a dozen or so people that want the representation now. But I think that we have a duty to all of the registered voters of District 1, not just those who called you back, to give them that voice that you said you wanted to give them. And I also agree with one of the callers that said, we shouldn't be making a decision as a 3-person council on this. This affects the entire city. So we should at least have all the reps here that were elected to represent the city, or appointed in my case. So.
Okay, question from the council. Being as there is 3 of us here, is it a simple majority, or is it need a 3-person vote if we?
It is a simple majority of the members present.
Okay.
I just want to go on record and say, I feel like it would be unethical to make a decision to people for the entire council and the entire city to move forward with that.
I'd like to say something. You said that the majority of people don't want Drew Tipton in,
Of those who voted.
of those who voted.
Made their voice heard. through the
Okay.
vote. Yes.
So if the person that was voted in that took his place left the district or resigned, what's the difference if Drew Tipton didn't come back in for the majority until November of 2024?
That the voters from his district already had their voices heard, and their voice was that they did not want him to be their representative. And I just want to address also the comment about, so many people, there's so much confusion about who do I go to, but all of us on this council should be clarifying and dispelling those, misconceptions when they come up of who do I go to, or I don't know, or I don't have representation. We are all representatives of everybody in Greenfield. Nobody should even allow that conversation to go past that. And I'm not saying that anybody does, but whenever we start hearing, if somebody from District 3, Councilmember Ortiz's district came up and said, I don't even know who to go to. I don't know how to get a hold of her. Conversation ends there. This is how you can get a hold of her. But if you don't want to, you don't have to either, because we are all here for you. And all of our information is out there to the public. It's also our duty to make sure that all the residents in the community, whether they agree with our position on our voting or not, know that all of us represent the whole city. So there isn't a district without representation. That's very important for me to say, because it's not true. There is not a district without representation. We are all here to represent all the residents of Greenfield.
And I stated that.
Yeah, no, I'm not questioning that you did. I just want to clarify, because the city's watching, whoever's watching.
Yeah.
If there's that much confusion about, you have no idea who to go to, come to any of us. All of our information is on the website. All of us of how to get here. Come in, call Ann. You can contact me, We're all open to that. And I want people to know that. This isn't about stripping somebody's right to be represented.
Well, I think
Mayor, if I
that
could
there's
just
no,
one moment, Mayor White. So public comment is effectively reopened, and this gentleman hasn't had his entire 3 minutes.
Okay, very good.
the only thing I have to say is if the District 1 is open, there should be somebody going around District 1 seeing who they like to have in, because I've never been notified. I found out from the school teacher that he left the district. That's the only way I found out about it. So, if somebody needs to represent District 1, then they should be entitled to know that that it's an open seat. A lot of people don't know it's an open seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Being asked, public comment is reopened. We can go to those who are in the audience. And then we'll reach out to the online people.
Okay, so
Yes.
hi again. Thank you for reopening public comment, because there's one point that I keep forgetting to make. You keep mentioning that the majority didn't want Drew, but do you know how many voters are in District 1? Just under 1,200. Do you know how many people voted in that election? A total of 400-ish. So the majority didn't care to vote. So that's a problem. And that's a problem with going to districts too. So, and then you keep mentioning that, Ms. Antolon won by 17 votes, 4%. I wonder how many of those who voted for her are a little disappointed that she abandoned us. Maybe they have a change of heart. So you can't keep using that he lost, because circumstances have certainly changed. Thank you.
All right. We have people online.
Yeah.
Gabby?
Yes, I just want to point out, Ariana, you said it's unethical to vote, but I think it's unethical to have Ms. Martinez here, because I guarantee you she wouldn't appoint Tipton, because he's been vocal about the whole abuse of power. So again, I think that would be unethical for her to even say yes or no regarding Mr. Tipton, because I know what her answer is. And I'm questioning your ethic and your alliance, because it seems that you're on Ms. Martinez. You and her are aligned. It's very clear to me now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next.
Zoom user.
Thank you. Once again, Raul Tapia here. What was said here is important. It's not what our personal preference is. It's what the vote for the people is. And we should always have that at the forefront. Again, I always talk about our youth and how our youth could be of service. And this is one of the important things that, we have people watching, and like I said, there's always somebody watching at every corner, at every angle, and so, I really do highlight the fact that, I want to make sure that you guys understand that it is important. I know that Ms. Yaneli Martinez tried to make an attempt to be there via Zoom or whatever technical difficulty she was having, and not able to actually be there through the microphone or whatever. Not shouldn't impede her from actually making the vote. And the vote is for the people. And so I really think that the special election is important, even though it's a small time frame, like Ms. Ortiz said, for the seat. But a lot of people, I've been canvassing myself, and I've been talking to the youth, I've been talking to the people out here in this community, to actually round up a certain set of individuals that you might know personally or might not know, or that you've shared coffee or whatever with. That doesn't make a constituency. A constituency is the majority people. And the majority of the people say, hey, you know what, we need change, we need advancement, we need improvements, we need different things. And so, I have a list of items too that I've collected through time to talking to people, because I'm on the field. I'm consistently walking. I have a vehicle, but I just decided to walk. I decided to use public transportation. I decided to be of service to the community, and that's what should be at the forefront: the community, not our personal gain, our personal interests. And Miss Antolon, whatever decision she did make, she made it in a respectful, ethical manner. So let's keep that in mind, and again, I always say let's Ms. Martinez's unfortunate outcomes that are happening with her right now and her family. We should always keep that in mind too. There's stuff that is out of our control, but to be of service to the community, that's what we're here for, and we're here to represent the people and the future generations to come. And I think Ms. Ortiz, you said that yourself, the generations that come to see the beautification of Greenfield, that's what's important. The highlighting of our work and our ethics and our values and our core beliefs. That's what should be at the forefront of this governance body. And I think that, special elections is the way to go. To have 3 individuals appoint somebody right now is premature and really not the right thing to do. Thank you.
Beatriz,
Hi, good evening. Beatriz Diaz. I don't even know how to begin this one. I'm a little disappointed on what we're going through. I agree totally with Councilmember Rodriguez. I don't think that 3 board members, if they all vote yes, or 2 no and 1 yes, etc., should have my voice, my vote, to who I want to be represented by. I think that special elections will be the correct way to do it, so that we can all, have our own representation of who we choose. I know Councilmember Ortiz, says that she talked to this person, she talked to that person and all that. Well, let me tell you, Ms. Ortiz, I've talked to many residents, and I am on District 1. And let me tell you, majority of the people that I talk to, they don't want Tipton. They want a new face. They want a new vision. So I don't know who you're talking to, whether it's just your friends that they're on your side, on your group, etc. But let's have transparency. And I don't feel that you are on that transparency deal. And I want to thank you. I'm a little upset, disappointed, but I, do hope that we go through special elections, because I think that District 1, which I am one, and numerous people that I know of, yeah, somebody mentioned about 1,200 and 400, people voted. That's not your problem. It's not my problem. So why should we blame the ones that did vote, and the other ones didn't? So take that into consideration. Nobody can put a gun on anybody to go vote. Thank you.
John,
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, John.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. First of all, the personal attacks, that needs to stop. I mean, Angela Antolon is no longer an elected official. And so I don't think that's appropriate. Talking about that she abandoned her district and so forth. That's just negativity. Second of all, you got to have a process for this. Many people in our community aren't connected to the city council meetings. Mayor, I don't think you need to take a vote on this, to be honest. This is just a rapid, looks like, kind of set up to be in this way, with Yaneli Martinez not being present. So I would, as I said earlier, and thank you for opening it up to the public and bringing the transparency. The last 4.5 years, there hasn't been very much transparency in the city. A lot of people know that. Let's not be kidding around. And so I think that if you were to take a vote, Mayor, that is the wrong move. You need to bring this to a process. Either you guys decide between the 4 that are there as council elected official, or a special election. Those are my recommendations. And again, no personal attacks. Those days are over. There shouldn't be any personal attacks. Thank you for the opportunity, Bob.
Thank you very much. Yes, Jürgen, go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Jürgen Smith. I live in District 1. Okay. I like to have somebody sit up here and represent us. Okay. We had an election. Okay. Drew got number 2 on the election. Okay. He had lots of votes, but he didn't have enough. Okay. Ms. Antolon Vaughn, she left. You know what? He's very highly experienced. We need somebody up here that knows the town, that knows how to work the system regarding all the system of the red tape that we all know about, how to get things done up here in City Hall. Because a lot of times, they say you can't fight City Hall, but you know what? You can if you have the right people representing at the city. Okay. We have an option. Make an appointment. Number 2, there was nobody else that was running that wanted the job. If they wanted it, they would have put their name on the ballot. Okay. If you don't want to elect him, appoint him, have a special election. Okay, yeah, between what, $12,000 and $19,000? It's only money to burn, but it would be for a good cause to get that seat filled. Okay. But if we don't want to spend that money, we do have a good person qualified that could be appointed. We have big projects jumping off. Okay. Let's move the city, let's move it in the right direction. Let's get things done. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comments. All right, we're going to make a comment.
Well, I was just going to remind you that you do have a motion on the table.
Right.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion on the table. Before we vote, I know we have many issues facing the city right now. We need to get beyond this appointment. We need to fill this position. We need representation in that district. Drew put his name forward. He was the only one besides Angela that put his name forward. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to second the nomination for Drew Tipton. So we have a motion and a second. I would like to do a roll call vote. Ann, please.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Rodriguez,
No.
Mayor White.
Yes. All right. We have filled position. Congratulations, Drew. All right, we'll move to item L6, consideration of water rate increase and water rate implementation. Staff report, please.
Good evening again. So as you'll recall, on June 27th, the city council did approve water and sewer rates based on a legally required Proposition 218 rate study and notification process. It was discovered, though, prior to implementing those rates in early July and actually implementing them in the city software system, that the previously, my apologies, I got distracted. The previously adopted flat portion or account charge of the water rate hadn't been implemented from the previous rate increase in 2016. And so this is hopefully just a reminder to you, because you did, we did discuss and you acted upon this at the last meeting in July. Or yes, the last meeting in July. And so on July 25th, you as a council directed staff to postpone increasing the water rates until there was a little bit more